What is going on, everybody? Today I'm back with another video, and it is draft season, and tonight is the MLB draft. Last year we saw Henry Davis, the catcher, go number 1 and Jack Leiter go number 2 to the Texas Rangers. That was unexpected. Everyone thought Jack Leiter was going to go number 1, but Henry Davis came. So who knows? The mock drafts, everything, who knows what's actually going to happen? Nobody, except for the GMs, obviously. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're not going to do a mock draft, but I am going to go over the top 5, going from 1 to 5, on who is the best players coming out of the draft. I'm only going to do the top 5. I will give some honorable mentions at the end, so make sure to stay tuned for those. All the players in this first round have potential to be superstars in the making, but obviously the top 5 are a little more exciting to talk about right now. So, yeah. I'll also be going over where I think that player will get drafted to, so maybe it'll be your team that gets the players that I'll be naming. And before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you like baseball videos like these, this is the place to be. I upload breaking news and all that type of stuff. It's completely free to hit the subscribe button, so make sure to go down there and do it. It's the little red button down below. Also turn on post notifications while you're there, and comment video suggestions that you want me to make next. So without further ado, let's go into my top 5 draft picks. So the best prospect that I think is going to come out of this draft is Drew Jones. He is the son of Andrew Jones, and he is an insane player. Drew Jones is only 18 years old. He bats and throws right and plays all the positions in the outfield. Being the son of Andrew Jones, I'm sure he got tons of training as a kid, and it's definitely going to help him going into his MLB career. Let's see what the scouts think of Drew Jones now. Everything that I do say is going to be out of 80. So, for example, 40 out of 80 is half, and so on and so forth. But his hitting is a 55, which is pretty good for a prospect, and he's not even in the minors yet, so I expect that to get a lot better and improve on his hitting. So, yeah, he's a 55 hitting, a 60 power, a 70 run, and a 70 fielding, which gives him an overall of 65, which is very solid. I expect Drew Jones to be maybe even better than his father. That's a very high standard, but it could happen. Next up, we got Matt Holliday's son, Jackson Holliday. Jackson Holliday is a 6'1", 18-year-old shortstop, bats left and throws right, and the scouts grade him a 60 overall with a hit grade of 60 and a power of 55. His running is a 60 and his fielding is a 55. There is definitely some room for improvement as he could gain some weight and gain some power. But yeah, that's Jackson Holliday. Next up, we have Brooks Lee. He is a 21-year-old 6'2" shortstop, and he bats switch and throws righty. He has a hit grade of 65, and he has a power of 55. While his running is 50 and his fielding is also 50. That gives him an overall of 60. I do like his ability of being able to hit for some contact, as his hitting is a 65 grade. His power is only 55, so it could get higher, and I expect it to get higher as he grows and gets older. But he's a very, very good shortstop coming out of the draft class this year. By the way, these are pretty much all positional players. There aren't any pitchers, just because the top 5 are all positional players. So, yeah. But yeah, back to Brooks Lee. He definitely has a potential to go number 1 overall to the Baltimore Orioles, as they like to pick behind slot value. So they might go with Brooks Lee instead of Drew Jones or a Holiday. So I could definitely see him going number 1. These 3 could definitely mismatch. I think Holiday and Drew Jones could definitely mismatch. And the next guy we're going to talk about also has the potential to go number 1. All these 5 guys have the potential to go number 1, 100%. So yeah, Brooks Lee is a solid prospect. Expect him to go number 3. Next up, we have Termarr Johnson. He is possibly one of the best prospects out of this whole draft. He might go number 1. He is also a shortstop and second baseman. Mainly plays second, but he could also play some shortstop. He's only 18 years old, and he's a little short. He's 5'10". He bats lefty and throws righty. He has a hit grade of all the way to 70 and a power grade of 60, so he could definitely swing the bat. His running is a 50 and his fielding is a 55, so he definitely has room to improve fielding-wise, but his bat is just almost too good to pass up. This brings him to an overall of 60, which, like I said, he has the potential to go number 1. So right now, with the last guy coming up in a second, I'm going to tell you all the teams that I think these guys will end up going to. So with that being said, let's start off with the Baltimore Orioles. I think they choose Brooks Lee. Number 2 is the guy that you see on your screen right now, Termarr Johnson. I think he's going to go number 2 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think he's too good to pass up, and that means I have Drew Jones going number 3. Dropping all the way down to the Texas Rangers. Yes, they get the 2 people the 2 kind of juniors, you know. They get Andrew Jones' son and Al Leiter's son, Jack Leiter, last year. So that's going to be the Texas Rangers pick. I think Drew Jones. 4, I think we see Jackson Holiday go to the Pittsburgh Pirates. And 5, I think Cam Collier goes to the Washington Nationals. Speaking of Cam Collier, he is who you see on your screen now. He is a third baseman. He is only 17 years old, and he is 6'2". He bats left and throws right. Now let's get to his gradings. His hitting is a 60 and his power is a 50. He has the ability to slap the ball to all sides of the field. As you can see in all these highlights, he's just slapping the ball to the opposite field a lot. So let's now move on to his running and his fielding. They are both 50 graded, so he could definitely improve. He is overall a 60. So that wraps up my top 5 for who I think is the best prospects coming out of this year's draft. Just because I have the top 5 doesn't mean I think Drew Jones is going to go number 1, as I told you, my predictions. But yeah, honorable mentions are Elijah Green and Kevin Parada. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.